Hello everybody, Nine and Dads. How's everybody today? Everybody doing good? I'm on my porch today because it's starting to rain. So we're going to do this from here. Now, did you hear about the hot mic moment that was caught when Trump was at the golf course? Sitting in his golf cart and he had a passenger with him. You know who the passenger was? Look closely. It's Barron Trump. In my heart of heart, that was Barron Trump. Nobody else is reporting on that. But I swear that was Barron Trump. Trump doesn't golf with any young kids. That's the only one he golfs with. So anyway, they caught him and he said to these guys, so what did you think of the debate we did the other day? And the guy mumbled something, he couldn't really make it out. But Trump says, yeah, he's a broken down pile of crap, he said. He quit, you know. He's quitting the race. So that means you have Kamala. I think she's going to be better. She's so pathetic. She's so fucking bad. So can you imagine him dealing with Putin? Or China with Xi? Who's a fierce person, fierce leader, very tough man. And then Barron, when he said that Kamala was fucking bad, Barron just sort of went, like, I can't believe you just said that. And then when Trump pulls out some money, I don't know what denomination was, but he handed this guy money. I don't know what for. Handed him money, and then him and Barron took off, and Barron turned around and waved. So Barron must have known who these folks are, reporters, or were they just club members? I don't know. But then the next thing you hear is Donald Trump at one of those, whatever the hell they call them, rallies, or I don't know, these Christian, nationalist, fascist, Christo, Nazi, whatever the hell organizations host him to do anything is beyond me. But yeah, he's at one of these rallies and he said, I can guarantee you, he said, just about everybody in this room is on an FBI list somewhere. And he goes, we are, my whole family is, we're on all the lists, he said, but you know what list we're not on? The Jeffery Epstein list. Because if it was, it would have leaked in about a half a second, and that's a fact. Well, DJ TJ, guess what? Your dad was the champion of that list. He was on there more times than anybody else. So yes, he is #1 at Mar-a-Lago massages. Because that's where some of Jeffrey Epstein's young ladies were working, doing massages. Ask Alan Dershowitz, he's on the list too. Just saying. Well, so was Bill Clinton and Bill Gates too, but only once each. I guess they figured out what was up and said, woo, enough of this. Because it's not like there's only people that do that thing that talk about that thing. They don't talk about that with anybody else. Not in civilized company anyway, I might say. There was a French model scout that worked for Jeffrey Epstein. And his name was Jean-Luc Brunel. And he worked for 15 years with Jeffrey Epstein, mostly because Jeffrey Epstein financed his modeling agencies, where he went around and scouted young girls for Jeffrey. So he was classed as a trafficker, couldn't take it, ended up unlifing himself. So Jeff unlifed himself too, apparently. But I think maybe that's why Trump was trying so hard to get this official immunity, because he was president when that happened. So maybe he needed immunity because one minute he was there, next minute he wasn't. So I don't know, maybe he's taking tips from the Russians, only he didn't fly out a 6th floor window. Just saying. But some of the stuff that's come out about Trump is about a young girl, and her alias is Katie Johnson, and she was between 12 and 13 at the time that her and Jeffrey Epstein repeatedly had physical interactions with her. 12 and 13. She was forced to have interactions with other people. Trump himself, along with Epstein, were involved in 4 episodes at least. Almost like once a month for 4 months. She filed a lawsuit in New York And it was just before the 2016, I think 2 days before the 2016 election. Her lawyer was very reputable. Gloria Allred's daughter, Lisa Bloom, was her lawyer. And the day she was supposed to come and testify, she called Lisa and said she wasn't going to do it because her and her family had been threatened and she was too afraid to show up for the trial. Tells you a lot, especially when you know about all the secret doings with the Mango Moose Knuckle there. So yeah, she was too afraid to come and testify. But that's not the only thing. All these religious, whatever the hell, they're not even religious. They're cherry pickers. That's all they are. They're cherry pickers. Republican Jesus. That's all, because no other Christian out there goes along with that shit. I'm just saying. None. So that's who they want for their president. That's who they want. Because it's just Trump being Trump, right? God will forgive him. Really? What about all them other senators and stuff like that that had an affair on their wife and ended up leaving their wives and marrying the girl they had the affair with? That didn't matter. They were drummed out of the politics business for life. This guy has been doing this stuff since he was old enough to do that stuff. When he was a young teenager, his parents had to send him to military school. It was like reform school, only they gave him fancy uniforms because they were all rich kids. Couldn't do nothing with him, so they sent him to reform school so they wouldn't have to deal with him. And he didn't make out too good there. He wasn't well liked. Was a good athlete, however. He did play baseball, and he was supposed to be very good at it. But anyway, there was that. But all this stuff involving young girls, and whenever he requested somebody, allegedly, from Epstein, it was uncanny how much she looked like his daughter, Ivanka. Because when this thing with Katie Johnson was happening, his daughter, Ivanka, was the same age. Tell me that isn't sad. And some of this stuff online, like out of his own mouth, they said that he was a groomer, and he said, yeah, it's true. Yeah, out of his own mouth. There's tons of stuff and videos of him. Check out some of the Howard Stern stuff. I'm not pulling this stuff out of my ass, people. This stuff happened. That's the kind of man he is. So if he gets in and he has no immunity, he can continue to do this stuff at reckless abandon. He can do whatever the hell he likes. But I think the best part of all this was the new transcripts and stuff that came out with the flight logs with Trump on them at least 7 times, and Jeffery Epstein on Donald Trump's flights, accompanied by very young guests of the female persuasion. I'm going to call them girls because they weren't quite women yet. But yeah, young girls. All dressed up fancy like, right? Going on a big jet. So yeah. But the thing is, when Trump Jr. says that my dad's not on any Epstein list, Jeffrey Epstein was hanging out with his kids. There's pictures of Don Jr. and Eric and Ivanka. But Jr. and Eric were exempt from that whole catastrophe because they were boys. Yes. Ivanka was the one they wanted. So there's that. It's just really sick. Really sick. And if you notice, there's a few pictures of Melania when they first got together and were dating. They dated for a few years before they got married. And she looks like, there's a couple there. It looks like Trump's holding her up. There's Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein, Melania, and Trump. And Trump looks like he's holding her up. She looks like she is totally out of it. And she's a thin little waif thing. That's what they like. The younger they look, the better, right? But anyway, there's that. And Melania was recruited overseas. They go to all these, back then it was a communist country, I think. Somewhere in there. Well, we know that Ivana came from a communist bloc country, from the Czech Republic. And the KGB was keeping close tabs on her dad. And that's when Trump became an asset. Just saying. Did a whole video on this before. I might have to do another one because this stuff's coming back up again. So yeah. That's who the Republicans want for their president, their representative. But everybody else has to toe that religious line and have to have a Bible in every classroom. And the teachers have got to start teaching Bible verses to the kids in class from K through 12. But they let that have a pass. Anyway, 99 loves you. Be good, be safe, and please take care of you first so you can take care of somebody else. I love you so much. Mwah. And if you're new, give us a subscribe and have a like. The algorithm's playing with me again, just saying. Anyway, take care of you. I love you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Take care, everybody.